So for Veterans Day this year, we wanted to get a little up close and personal with some of our soldiers and vets.
We had the chance to go to the Coast Guard base at Everett and Joint Base Lewis McChord and interview some soldiers there.
My name is Autumn Majak. I am an ME1, which is considered an E6 in the Coast Guard. Many people refer to me as Magic, Majak, or Spoon. These are all my nicknames. And we go by a lot of nicknames in the Coast Guard because it kind of brings in family. I've been with the Coast Guard for a long time. I was first activated in 1992 during Desert Shield, Desert Storm era, and I served until 99 on active duty and reserve status. And then I got out of the reserves and then came back in the reserves 15 years later. I got out because I pursued my civilian side and life, and then came back. I teach my guys how to shoot the 50 cal, the 240, physical control, anything that you'd see a cop would do. Several small boats. We have typically a port security unit has 3 or 6 fast deployable boats with less people. So we make it happen. We make it happen for everybody that's in here. We try to keep everything secure.
My name is Sarah Cook, and I am a yeoman, first class. So I basically do human resources.
My name is Petty Officer Garrett Brown. I'm a active duty gunner's mate, first class here at Port Security Unit 313, and I'm in charge of the weapons, the ammunition, and the range training here done for the unit. My nickname that everyone likes to call me is just Guns.
So, my name is Chuck Hosworth. I'm a Chief Petty Officer here at Coast Guard Port Security Unit 313.
My name's Eddie Hinchelwood. I'm the active duty engineering staff here at Coast Guard Port Security Unit 313. I am responsible for the overall maintenance of the boats that we use here and the rest of our logistical equipment.
Hello, I'm MK2 Lofton. Been in the Coast Guard for about 5.5 years now. On the outside, I work at Providence Hospital. I'm a facility engineer there, so do maintenance.
My name is Mark Murakami. I'm a captain in the United States Coast Guard Reserve. I currently am the Senior Reserve Officer for the Coast Guard Pacific area based in Alameda, California. I live in Honolulu, Hawaii, and where I'm an attorney now.
Lieutenant Blandy, first name Kierami. I am an XO here with Alpha Company, 296 BSB. I maintain operations. I do training. I make sure our maintenance is good for all our trucks. Make sure all our trainings it's according to METCC.
So I'm the senior NCO for the brigade in dealing with logistics. So Master Sergeant Simon and Sergeant Peterson, they're working at the battalion level. I work in the brigade level.
I'm Sergeant Peterson. I work in this bow shop, which means we process a lot of sustainment requests. So things like food, what else? Transportation. There's so many things. It's like a lot of stuff.
I'm the SPO Ops NCO, which means basically I'm in charge of the lower enlisted to make sure that we sustain the brigade.
I'm Private First Class Barber. I graduated from Fife High School in 2017. Now I'm in the Army.
Hey, how's it going? My name is Alejandro Mahoney Palisoto. I'm a former student of Fife High School, and I graduated the year 2018. It was not long ago, but I'm currently in Fort Lee, Virginia. I'm in my AAT, and of course you can see I'm in the Army.
We had one main question for the soldiers we interviewed.
We asked them what inspired them to join and serve in the military.
I come from a long line of military members. My father was Marine, my mother was Navy, my grandfather was Air Force Marine. I have a ton of Marines in my family. It's family tradition for one, and I highly respect what America stands for. And I want to make sure that everybody's freedoms are protected. I know that kind of sounds cheesy, but it's instilled in me. This is why I did it the first time, and this is why I still do it and why I came back.
I didn't hear of the Coast Guard until I was like 23, 24. I didn't know what the Coast Guard was. But I always wanted to serve. I just kind of felt like it was like paying back my debt. So after I finished school, I came in.
I was in high school when Hurricane Katrina happened, and that kind of opened my eyes of like, oh, the Coast Guard actually exists. Pretty much my entire life I knew I was going to do military of some sort, and when Hurricane Katrina hit, it really was like, oh wow, the Coast Guard's there. They work a lot more closer to the country than going overseas. I mean, yes, we do deploy and go overseas, but they serve the homeland itself mostly.
I actually joined the Coast Guard right after 9/11. I had never served in the military before then, and I made the decision after 9/11 to join. So I've been in the Coast Guard now just under 17 years.
Joining the Coast Guard initially was a way to give back to the community, sort of give back to the public and serve my country. I've been doing this for the past 10 years or so, and really what's kept me serving this time is the men and women that I serve with on either side of me. That's what's kept me going all these years, is the people that I work with. You know, I've been fortunate enough over the past 10 years to meet some of the best people that I've ever had the fortune to work with, and sort of
you can see a strong purpose, strong sense of pride, I guess.
I originally joined the Coast Guard in 1988, and I was appointed to the United States Coast Guard Academy in New London, Connecticut. And I didn't know much about the Coast Guard or the military, but I loved the water and the ocean, and I thought it would be a neat opportunity to learn and see a little of the world before I settled down.
Whether you want to travel, or you're looking for excitement, or you're just looking for a place to just like you belong, I didn't have none of those. I think just serving in period, I like the job. I complain most days about my job, so sometimes I come in and hate my life, but most of the times when I go home, it's rewarding because I know I've done something that's going to benefit another person.
I started this a long time ago, and I won't give the year, but I was still in high school. So I joined out when I turned 17 and a half because it was a family tradition. So my stepdad, my step-uncle, and my older brother were already in the Guard. I joined the Guard. My younger brother joined the Guard. My son is in the Guard. My cousin is in the Guard, and my cousin's daughter is in the Guard. So for me, it was all about family.
And decided I wanted to do something to serve my country and provide for my daughter, because I was going to start all over, right? So I joined and went to basic training at 33. So I'm kind of late in the game, in 2011. So I had a whole life before this, really. So I'm kind of, but it's great. I love it.
About 95, my sister joined. She was already in the Army before I joined. And I was a late starter back then at 22.
I joined because mainly my family.
I want to protect those great moments we have. I joined the military because most of my family's been through the military, to be honest. I'm not the first one, and I won't be the last one, for sure.
We got a chance to get a little more in depth with some of the soldiers we spoke to.
They talked to us about the sacrifices they had made.
Huge sacrifice to my family. I've gone the majority of the time, especially being on active duty up here, because I am on active duty orders. I've been recalled for up to a year, potentially up to 2 years active duty up in a location that's 50 miles away from where I currently live. So my family don't get to see me on a daily basis. They get to talk to me. Past sacrifices, especially being deployed on a ship or being deployed overseas. I was down in Guantanamo Bay, where it was a restricted base. I didn't have much communication with my family outside of selected time. I can get on Wi-Fi at certain places, but as you can imagine, Guantanamo Bay is pretty restricted on what can be seen, what pictures could be taken, and communication-wise. What my future sacrifices is that we have a lot of uncertainty in our world, so we could be deployed at a moment's notice. So it is being gone. I have a potential chance of being gone for my daughter's graduation, seeing you guys graduate, seeing you guys being raised, and through our, I know you guys, that would devastate me, absolutely devastate me to see you guys not graduate. I could probably be there video-wise, but I mean, that kind of hurts me right now to even think about that. So deployment-wise, yeah, it's hard. It's hard, but I do it because it needs to happen.
So my husband is active duty, and he is stationed on a ship in Port Angeles. And I'm on orders as a reservist here. When we moved from Alaska down here is when I became a reservist, so I was active duty. And I couldn't get located in Port Angeles, so I was like, I'll just be a reservist and drive one weekend a month. And I've been on orders here for almost 2 years. So he's underway about every 3 months. And being here, I live in like a travel trailer, and I go home 2 weekends a month roughly. So sometimes I go home and he's there, and sometimes I go home and he's not there. So in the past 2 years, I think we've lived together 2 weeks and a couple weekends a month.
First time I was gone from my family was in 2003. I deployed to Iraq and was gone during the Gulf War at that time. And then in 2015, I deployed to Guantanamo Bay and was gone from my family then for a year as well. So there's a lot of sacrifices in being a reservist. But it has to happen. That's how our country maintains their freedoms and why we have what we have in our country. It's because people are willing to sacrifice. Some people sacrifice their time, some people actually wind up sacrificing their lives.
It was very grueling. The challenge is at the time, my son was born. I had a baby right before I got assigned to the ship. And every single time we got underway, I thought it would be 2-3 week patrols. It ended up, the shortest patrol we did was 7 weeks, the longest was 13 weeks. And every single time I got underway, it felt like I was cutting off my arm. And I missed so much of what I thought I was supposed to be as a father.
We truly appreciate everything that these men and women do to protect our country.
We wanted to wish all veterans a happy Veterans Day and a big thank you for all that you've done.